and the state government is still out of money. We need to really expose where all that money is. I think that's point number one, day number one.
Children of non-citizens, children who may be non-citizens themselves, maybe they can go to school, but some are thinking of, hey, up in Chicago, we should allow for immigrant children to not have to go to school and do remote learning. And I think the governor was asked about that late last week at an unrelated event. Here's what he had to say.
The attack, I'll use that word, by ICE, or the federal government coming into schools. Schools now are prepared for soft lockdowns. They know how to prevent kids from being taken out of schools. And then you've seen lots of neighborhood programs that have developed to support the parents also. So those are all things that are in effect. We're supporting the organizations at the local level, as you know, that are warning people when things are happening in their communities. And so that entire system that's been put together is one that the state continues to support.
Happen here. Let's get into it with Illinois in Focus Daily. So yesterday, obviously, in previous segments, there were a lot of politicians, a lot of elected officials at the Illinois State Board of Elections turning in their March primary petitions. And part of the conversation was, hey, Hakeem Jeffries is expected to lobby Illinois Democrats to change the map. We'll hear what Hakeem Jeffries told reporters briefly last night after he met with Democrat legislative leaders. But early in the morning, Governor J.B. Pritzker was asked about should Illinois have a new map at the behest of the Democrat leader in the U.S. House.
I mean, I think it's possible. And again, this is, all about, the fact that Donald Trump is now trying to, rig the game. By going state by state and asking his friends, the Republican governors and Republican legislators, to do mid-decade redistricting. And so that's something I think we're all going to have to look at during the process here. But it doesn't have to happen during veto session. It could happen after that.
Here's you could find out when you wake up Friday morning that there was a tax increase to fund the fiscal cliff and there was an omnibus energy package, and that's energy legislation that includes a whole bunch of stuff. Could that mean your rates for your energy is going to increase? These are the debates they're having at the State House. Well, let's go ahead and get on into it with Senate Minority Leader John Curran and State Senator Sue Rezin, Republicans. They held a news conference talking about how they believe Democrats are going to hinder the economy further by their actions of looking to increase taxes to fund the transit fiscal cliff. Here is Senator Curran discussing that yesterday.
Reform first. It does not make logical sense to, at the same time, you're going to put a bunch of reforms in place and put a new group of people in charge to also, you don't know exactly what you need. We know the cliff keeps getting pushed out. We know the amount keeps coming down. Let's put the new people in first. Let's reform the structures. Let them get their arms around it, and then let's talk about what is needed.
Dabrowski, obviously will be interesting to see on a debate stage, not just with other Republicans, but with Governor J.B. Pritzker and how that may play out. But he's confident that Illinoisans are ready for change.
Well, I think we've seen in the last election, there's a look for change. You've seen Hispanics looking for change. The blacks feel disenfranchised by Pritzker's policies. I think many parents feel their rights are being taken away by Governor Pritzker's extreme cultural policies. So I think there's a huge opportunity. People are looking for change, and they want it. We just have to go out there and make our case.
Now, Dabrowski obviously has to get through a primary as well. Several candidates for the Republicans. The primary's March 17th. Governor J.B. Pritzker was the only Democrat to file for the March primary, at least when I checked mid-afternoon yesterday. But he had to answer questions. I asked him as I was right in front of him with a microphone. And you can see the picture I was able to get from my vantage point at the centersquare.com, where you can see the picture of Pritzker and his running mate, Christian Mitchell. I'm on the ground looking up. So I had to ask him, can you commit to serving out the entire 4 years of a third term? Because there's speculation that he's possibly going to announce that he's wanting to run for the White House in 2028, which would be 2 years into the next term if he was to win another term for governor. So is the governor going to commit to serving all 4 years of a third gubernatorial term.
What I can commit to you is that I'm going to work very hard every single day that I'm in office for the people of Illinois, and every decision that I make is really about what's best for the people of Illinois. Yeah, we were just talking about the terrible loss that the Baileys have suffered. He thanked me for the words that I had for the Baileys, and we just talked, I think, one father to another about what they must be going through. Well, I mean, I cannot imagine what they're going through, and I know that the funeral is coming up, and I think it's, of course, appropriate for all of them to maybe take some time. And I think the kinds of things that people go through when they lose family members, and particularly when you lose a son, daughter-in-law, and grandchildren, I only know that it's going to take time. Grief is difficult to get past.
This is a very, very big day for us. We're turning on our petitions and getting started, looking for change in Illinois. First, we have to acknowledge the tragedy for the Bailey family. It's unimaginable. Good to see that they're here, and our prayers are with them. I think the first thing you have to do is have transparency. We're spending $16 billion more today than we were spending when Pritzker took office. $16 billion is 40% more, and the state government is still out of money. We need to really expose where all that money is. I think that's point number one. Day number one is immediately create a department that exposes where all the money is going, because nobody seems to understand it. You got Chicago public schools in billion-dollar debts. You got Chicago, the city, with massive debts. You got CTA and RTA with massive debts. The state, it's beyond understanding. We need to expose where all the money's going, and so that's what Illinoisans deserve. They need to know where their money's going and how we cut it back.